Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Brandon Up, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to do a double bar spin. It is one of my favorite tricks. I used to struggle on this a lot, but now it's one of my favorite tricks. There's a lot of different ways on how to do this, but I'm going to teach you guys how to do it the way that I do it. Everyone has their preferred method. Some people like to bus. Some people like to throw it. Like you can throw it goofy, you can put your foot on the pedal or on the crank. At the end of the day, it is all just preference. Sometimes I change my method on how I do it depending on what obstacle I'm doing it on. When I do a double bar spin, I like to throw the first bar, catch, and then throw the second one, but I don't fully close my hand and catch. I kind of just tap it like this real quick. I'll talk more about that later. Some people like to do a double bus, kind of like that, where you guide it around with your hand the whole time. I see a lot of street guys do that. Another method that people used to do, it's not really that common anymore, it's just to throw it around twice like that. Not as common anymore, but we do still have some dudes like Ryan Nyquist doing that. I personally don't really like doing it either of those ways, just because I do feel like it is a lot more dangerous and less consistent to pull off. Oh my god! Hello, future Brandon here. That's exactly why I don't do the trick that way. I stabbed myself in the gut and that wasn't fun at all. The one that I did do, that was the second time I ever did that. I probably am never gonna try that again because that's the hardest one, I think. All right, back to the video. I will say that when you do get the general idea of just how to do 2 bar spins, you can learn it those ways as well. Experiment and see what your preferred way is, but today we're gonna teach you how to do it just like that. Before you start trying to do a double bar spin, you definitely want to have your bar spins on lock. If you're still kind of iffy about a single bar spin and you go out and try 2, probably gonna get hurt and possibly maybe die. I don't know. It's possible. I'm just saying it could happen. Definitely make sure that your single bar spins are really solid. You should be able to bar spin without even thinking about it before you try this. I'm gonna go ahead and try to break a double bar spin down into just a few different steps. So we're gonna go ahead and do step 1. Step 1 is building muscle memory. Building that muscle memory could be the difference between you learning the trick in a few minutes versus maybe a few months. If you can't do the motion on the ground, when you try to do it in the air, you're probably going to crash. So let's go over how to do the motion on the ground first and how to practice it. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna set up your bike up against a wall or bench or something like that, and you're gonna prop the front wheel up into the air and start practicing the motion. Once you get that consistently every single try without fumbling your fingers, then you're gonna back away from the wall or whatever you're up against. You're gonna go forward, and then you're gonna try to put your front foot on the pedal and try to do the motion like that. Now that is more similar to what you'll actually be doing in the air, so get that nice and dialed and build that muscle memory. Do that till you have that consistent every single try. If you're still fumbling or messing up, you're probably gonna mess up in the air too, and I can't stress this enough. If you build that muscle memory, that will help speed up the learning process by a lot. Let's go ahead and move on to step 2 now. Step 2 is you're gonna wanna find a nice comfortable fly out for you. Probably between something like 4 to 6 feet is probably good. The one that I'm working with today is a 6-foot fly out. I personally prefer a bigger ramp to learn my tricks out of, just because I feel like it gives my body some time to actually react to the ramp and set up for whatever I'm about to do. On a smaller ramp, everything's a lot quicker and you're gonna get less air time. Don't necessarily need a fly out to learn this trick. You could learn it out of a bank or even flat if you're really committed, but it will make the learning process a lot more difficult. So you're gonna approach the fly out at a comfortable speed, a little bit faster than you would do for a normal bar spin fly out, and then you're going to catch the bar spin and then see if you have enough time to twitch it after, because if you can do a bar spin, catch both hands in the air and twitch, you have enough time to do a double bar spin. Don't need to go that high in order to do this trick. Probably 2 to 3 feet is what I would recommend, because that'll give you enough time to do it. But if you do end up falling, you're not falling from very high, so you should be okay. The body positioning for a double bar spin is the exact same as a single bar spin, except that you'll just be going a little bit higher. So you're going to go ahead and take off out of the ramp, level out your bike, straighten out your legs, pinch your seat, or at least put your knees together, and then lean your body forward and put your head over your handlebars. That's the position you want to be in. So now you've practiced the motion, have it solid, getting ready to do a second one fly out, you're twitching it, you're ready. Let's move on to step 3. Once you have that motion nice and solid, it's time to start throwing it out of the fly out. What you're gonna want to do before you drop in is do that motion, 5 to 10 times, get it nice and ingrained in your body. And then you're gonna drop in, fly out at a comfortable speed and start trying it. It's gonna be really scary at first, but I recommend that if you can get yourself to, try to throw that second bar bar spin as soon as possible, because I see a lot of people get stuck twitching the bars and never actually throwing the second one, and then they get into a bad habit, and it's really hard to unlearn that. You definitely want to be confident in what you're doing though. Don't want to go out and do that first bar spin and then just freak out on the second one, because you're never gonna land it then. I see a lot of people do this. They throw the first bar spin, and then the second bar spin, it just goes crazy because they just go like this, and then there's no way they're possibly gonna catch that. Make sure your hands are close the entire time and ready to catch. That's pretty much how to do it. I'm gonna go over some big tips that helped me learn, and hopefully will help you learn as well. The biggest tip that I have for learning this trick is, if you're gonna do it the way that I do it, you're going to want to learn how to do this tapping motion. And what I mean by that is, instead of fully catching onto the handlebars in the middle of the trick, you're going to just kind of touch it like this with your hand. So your catch hand, instead of fully catching, you're gonna go ahead and just touch the grip and then continue on with the motion like this. As you can see, my hand never actually fully catches, and the reason that this is important is because I see a lot of people, they want to do a double bar spin or bar catch bar, and what happens is they close their hand and they can never get themselves to open it back up and throw the second one. Why this is so important is, if your hand never catches fully to begin with, you can actually throw the second bar spin a lot easier. For me, I'm left foot forward and I throw with my left hand, catch with my right hand. What I'll do is I'll throw it, I touch it, and then boom, I throw the second one. So my left hand, my throwing hand, continues moving pretty much the entire time, while my right hand just gives it a quick stabilizing touch. Another tip that I have is to have a slightly higher seat. I don't necessarily run the highest seat, but I notice that if I do raise my seat a little bit, I have something to pinch with my knees or my calves. You definitely don't need to have a high seat to do this trick, but it will help, because if you have a low seat, you can still do the trick, but your bike will probably wiggle from side to side a little bit easier.
Oh, I don't recommend it.
Oh! Oh! Oh, that's possible. This is an NBD, I think. So, here we go. Oh! Let's go. Do not need a seat to do a double bar spin. Confirmed. John, you try it. Just try a bar spin real quick. Come on.
Fly out?
Yeah, just fly out this way.
Hold up, hold up, hold up. This ain't my bike. I'm not used to it.
Oh! You step off, it's fine.
Ah! I need a seat, confirmed.
Having a lighter front end also helps as well. This is definitely not something that you need to go out and change on your bike, but it does help. Like, I have a light front wheel, and when it's rotating in the air, that rotational weight feels like a lot less than someone with a heavier bike, and that allows me to just spin up that much faster compared to someone with a heavier setup. Falling is also pretty much inevitable when learning any trick, but especially on this one, because it's such a foreign motion to want to let go after that first bar spin. This is something that I see most people do when they're learning how to do this trick, is they throw their bars like way too fast, and then they're unable to actually control the bars because they're so focused on moving them. They have no idea where they are in the spinning process. That could definitely happen. Your bars could either land sideways or backwards, and that's no fun. If this happens to you, you just got to slow it down. You don't need to throw it as fast as some people throw it. You can definitely do this trick a lot slower. Another thing that could happen to you is your bike could just fall out from under you, and what that means is you're probably either leaning too far forward or you're not pinching your knees together enough, because if you pinch your knees together onto the seat, your bike should stay in place and not fall. Another thing that unfortunately could happen is you could hurt your fingers. I've been doing this trick for a long time, and I wear gloves, and I still mess up my hands every once in a while, and that just comes with learning the trick and getting better at it over time. In the beginning, it happened a lot more. Now, it is pretty rare that I mess it up and hurt myself. When you're spinning them, especially if you're spinning them too fast and you're not aware of where you are in the trick, you could just go like this and smash your fingers, which is, it's no fun, but it'll happen. It probably happened to you when you were learning single bar spins. I have a brake lever, and that also kind of hurts my hand, but I have a piece of grip here, specifically so that when I throw a bar spin and I catch it like this, it's a lot softer of an impact compared to the bare metal. And of course, just like any other trick, you could slip pedal, could get a shinner. It's not going to be fun, so this is why I do recommend wearing shin guards when you're learning this trick, just because whether you have plastic pedals or you have metal pedals like I do, you definitely want to have some sort of protection for your legs there, because the last thing you want to do is be trying a trick and then you get hurt on one attempt and then you can't try it anymore. So I do recommend wear your pads, wear your helmet, do whatever it takes so that you can successfully walk away from this trick. Just remember, this trick is something that pretty much anyone can learn if you have a solid bar spin. I would say this is is kind of an intermediate trick, but I could see a beginner honestly learning this as well. It truly is that simple. Just remember, the only thing that is moving when you're doing this trick is your arms. Your torso stays in place, your body stays stationary, and the only thing moving is your arms and your hands. So if you can remember that and simplify the trick to that, you could probably feel very confident when you're doing this. This is not a trick that you need to like send like some other tricks. It's really something that you could take your time with and learn in, I don't want to say a few tries, but you could definitely learn it in one session if you're committed to practicing. Once you finally get yourself to land that first one, you'll probably realize like, wow, that was not a very hard trick. If you're like me, you'll realize that it's actually just a super fun, simple trick that you can throw in a lot of different variations. You could do it in and out of things. You could do it air. You could do it in spins. I personally like to do this trick in 180s and 360s. There's really endless possibilities for this trick. I never get tired of doing it. It's really fun every single time I land it. And like once you start to do more of them and you figure out how to go from just one bar spin to two, you start to realize like, okay, that's the secret to it. I guess I could go from 2 to 3 now, and so on. If you make sure to practice your muscle memory and commit before you even drop in and tell yourself like, I'm going to land this trick, you will right away with new learn. Do you have any tips on double bar spins?
Just pinch the hell out of your bike. Cranks, seat. If you have trouble pinching, I'd probably suggest raising your seat up. Be a lot easier from there. I would suggest learning bar catch bar, since it'll be the easiest variation of it. Experiment from there. And then if you land on the cranks from a bar spin in the streets, it's not cutting it.
But what if you land both feet on a whip in the streets? Does that count?
If you land cranks from a whip in the streets, that counts. That counts, but if you land pedals, you get extra style points.
Have you ever had those extra style points?
I land pedals only, dude.
I hope this tutorial was helpful for anyone that's looking at how to do this trick, or maybe has never even really considered this till watching this. Let me know if I missed anything. If anyone does find this tutorial useful, post it on Instagram or something and tag me in it. I want to see it. I'd be super stoked if anyone gets this trick done because of me. If you liked the video, give the video a like. Comment down below letting me know what you think and what other tutorials you might want to see. I have new videos coming out every single week, so subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
I want to play music.
Give me a little bit more.
All right.